What do I think about Riley?
When I think about Riley, boy.
When I think about Riley, I just think about a giant goofball. You know, someone who is just always trying to make you laugh or is already laughing. Because that was the worst, most contagious, most aggressive laugh you have ever heard, and it'll never be replaced.
I just think about that laugh. I can still hear it. It just like, it hasn't left my head. I think about it all the time. It's infectious, and you can hear it from across the room, I mean anywhere.
When I think about Riley, I think about his smile and his charm, and how every time I visited, he was always the first person in line to give me a hug, regardless of whether he was at work or had something to do that night. He would always make a special trip, and he was always one of the last people to hug me before I left.
He's very intriguing. He's very quick-witted. He always has a comeback, very quick. He's very funny. He always makes jokes.
That goofy laugh of his, he's just an adorable man. When I think about Riley, I think about throwing him into the ocean.
I think about two M's, magic and music. He and I taught him, I kind of got him into magic in high school through our other friend Riley, and he just played it all the time. He really loved it. It's what brought this out, what's going on, you know, and music. He was so involved, middle school, high school. He just loved, he was a drum major, all that stuff. He was very involved in music. I know how passionate he was about it.
I think ridiculous. Absolutely stunningly ridiculous. Just always being goofy and always knowing how to make somebody smile when he walks in the room. And I think of how he's really good at apologizing when he makes you mad.
When I think about Riley, the thing I always think about is how every time he would greet me, it wasn't like how a normal person would do it. No matter where I was, he would come behind me and give me this big old bear hug and rub his nasty, scruffy beard all over my face. And it's only that typically that would kind of bother me, but with Riley, it never did. It was just how things were with us. That was how our friendship was defined, was just weird, over-the-back hugs. And I just, other than, you know, him being the kind of person that would cause an event like this to happen, that's what I'm going to remember most about it.
So when I think about Riley, the very first thing that comes to mind is that I know everyone here in Indianapolis misses me since I moved away to San Francisco, but he was one of the very few people who actually made me feel like I was missed. I know they miss me, but he went out of his way to show his, you know, love and friendship for me as a person. And I always felt really attracted to him in that way. He was a great person. I knew Riley had many flaws, as do most people, but he was one of the great people to grace this earth, and I am sad that he's going to be gone.
The first thing that always comes to mind is how goofy he was. I mean, he was always the butt of jokes. I mean, we would rag on him for working at Monkey Joe's. Like, who works at Monkey Joe's? But at the same time, the only thing I can think of is even when we were ragging on him, Riley always had a smile on his face. He was always happy. He was always just a wonderful presence in our friends group.
We grew up together playing baseball, and we both were terrible baseball players. But we were there every year, each time, rain or shine, and we kept trying. That was Riley, man.
And first thing I think is laughter. I mean, he was always laughing, whether he'd scare the crap out of you with it or he was just genuinely having a good time. And the biggest thing about Riley, at least in my situation, I think about love. I mean, he loved hard, and he loved everybody. I don't think there was a person that he could meet that he didn't like. It was, and he could always pick up right where you left off. There was never a moment, regardless of where you left it, where it would be negative. And above all, just him being a genuine person. He was always looking for his thing. He was always looking to see what he was successful at, but he had the issue of being so successful and throwing himself into so many things that's where he struggled.
Always trying to find his talent, what he liked to do best.
Even when you were like, man, Riley, that was stupid. What you just said, it just didn't make sense at all. Like, he would always be laughing. He'd always be smiling, and even if you had just ragged on him for 20 minutes, if you said, "Hey Riley, I need to go talk, and I need some guidance on this," he was always there. He was always ready to talk, always just ready to help in whatever it was, whether it was talking out a problem you had or just kind of like going through. But he always had pretty good advice. He was always one of the nicest people I've ever met, and I think the world is the worst place without having him. I'm sorry he isn't here. So
when I think about Riley, I think about his laugh. Just it's explosive. I think about him at the beach house. I think about meeting him through Magic. I mean, I think about how much I'm gonna miss him.
Gym shorts and cardigan combo that he rocked at everywhere he went. I really think that about describes him. It's like business up top, but casual everywhere else.
I think about just warmness and kind of humanity. That was the one thing that I think I always got from him whenever I was around. It didn't matter if I had seen him for hadn't seen him for 6 months or if I hadn't seen him in a day. He always gave me a hug. He was always smiling. If he was down about something in his personal life, he would talk about it, but he never ruined an interaction. He never ruined a friendship or a good moment. And you don't run into people like that all the time.
I think about lighting cigars on the beach with sparklers and singing about the United States of America. That's what I think about when I think about Riley.